Okay, so as I said last Thursday, I'm going to try and have an actual regular streaming schedule that's going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 in the morning until around 11 or noon or so, or just whenever I feel like I'm finished for the day. Thursdays are going to be dedicated to New Vegas as I work my way through that. But Tuesdays are going to be whatever I feel like playing, I guess. Give me an excuse to just sort of play something else that I enjoy that I have fun with. And I'm going to start that with Castlevania, with Symphony of the Night, which is one of my favorite games ever. I've played it a bunch. I've beaten it 3 or 4 times now, up to the 200% mark at least. And I just have fun with it. So I'm going to play that. And, give myself another excuse to play Castlevania again and talk about the game and chat if anybody bothers to show up. So, with that all out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. This one, unlike New Vegas, where I'm sort of turning it into an actual Let's Play after the fact, this is just going to be for fun. I'll post these on YouTube at some point, I'm sure, but I'm not going to have like a thread and all that for it. I'm just playing this game because I enjoy this game. This is just part of the stream experience, I guess. Konami bursts from the ground. It's too bad about Konami. They made good stuff, though. Alright. So I've played this on 4 different systems now? 4 different systems, yeah. Because I played the original PlayStation version. I've played it here on a computer. And then I played it both on the Xbox 360 and on the Xbox One. Yeah, I've played a lot, I guess. So, let's go t.mouse. Cool. I'm not going to read the text. If you want to read the text, then feel free to read the text, but I'm not going to read it for you. Those water graphics, though. Journey back to the mid-90s. I think it says something about the value of aesthetics, that if you can play with the loading screen. If you didn't know that, now you do. If you move the D-pad while the loading screen is going on, it will, move the text. Anyway, I think it says something about the value of aesthetics, that this still looks great. Like, the actual, running around as Richter here. This still all looks really, really good. Meanwhile, the super fancy 3D that they used for the opening cinematic looks like garbage at this point. So I've played this game a bunch, as I said, and I'm still not sure that there's any point to collecting all this stuff. I know that your actual fight with Dracula, which, spoilers, we're gonna go fight Dracula in a second here, has an impact on your starting stats, how well you do in that fight. But I don't actually know if the stuff that you get at the top there has an impact on anything. Alright. I'm gonna shut up now because this conversation is one of the best in video games.
Die, monster! You don't belong in this world!
It was not by my hand that I'm once again given flesh. I was called here by humans who wish to pay me tribute.
Tribute? You steal men's souls and make them your slaves.
Perhaps the same could be said of all religions.
Your words are as empty as your soul. Mankind ill needs a savior such as you.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough talk. Have at you!
And with that, we're into the first fight of the game against the big bad himself, Dracula. Pretty easy fight if you've ever played this game before. Or if you've never played this game before, I guess. Basically, he has two different attacks that he does in the beginning phase here. The first is to throw out those 3 fireballs like that. You can just jump over them. It doesn't look like you can, but you can just jump over them. The other one is he uses bigger, slower fireballs, these guys, and you duck and jump, and then that's it. And he just sort of teleports around the room and stuff. And you can use either the holy water, which is actually pretty good here, because if you get it right, it does that. It'll stop the fireballs and hit him. Sometimes you mess that up though, and you just accidentally hit the fireballs and not actually Drac at all. And you can tell which one he's going to use based on the line that he says when he shows up. Because he either just laughs and goes, "Ha!" In which case it's the 3 fireballs, or he says, "Here's true power!" In which case it's the bigger ones. And yeah, you can break the smaller fireballs as well. And, you know, get rid of those. This is phase 1 of the boss fight. There are a handful of different things that affect what your starting stats are when you get into the main game. One of them is how well you do in this boss fight. And that's... That was weird. Okay. Surprised I got hit there. But if you can do it without getting hit, which I just fucked up, unfortunately, then that gives you a boost to your starting stats. If you do it quick enough, then that also gives you a boost to your starting stats. It is not possible to lose this fight, by the way. Even if you take a bunch of hits and you go down to 0 health, Teeny Tiny Maria shows up and heals you to full health, and then you can't die after that. Here she comes. Also, something that I could have been doing that I wasn't doing was item crashing, because I don't actually remember the button combo for that off the top of my head. But that's something that you can do as Richter as well. So I didn't do too hot there, actually. I usually beat Dracula without getting hit. But oh well. And that's the introduction to the game. That's just how it begins. This game has all sorts of little twists and turns in it, I guess. The uninitiated, as it were. Apparently, because they just recently re-released this game as part of a bundle on the PS4, and apparently in that bundle, they changed that opening sequence. They changed the dialogue, so it's no longer the iconic exchange between Drac and Richter. Anyway, here we are now as Alucard. New character. Well, for this game anyway. He's got a sword instead of the whip, as you can see there. And, quite the cape. And he is a noted pretty boy. There he is, being a pretty boy. Oh, and you can see the starting stats that I got were 7776, which is not great. Well, actually, I think they were probably 666 and 6. This becomes useful later. But I'm actually... Let's see, I'm at level 2. I'm going to spend a little bit of time grinding and just kind of talking about my experiences with the game, I guess, while I get up to around level 6 or 7. Maybe as hard. Blech, maybe as high as 8. On these fish folk. So, like I said, I really like this game. I've played it several times. I have beaten it at least once the whole way through on original hardware. I've also definitely beaten it the whole way through on the 360 when they re-released it on that, which is actually a pretty great re-release, I think. It's well done, it looks good, it feels good, the game runs smoothly. They kept the original dialogue and stuff. And then I sort of got into the habit of just playing this game regularly. A little while ago, I went and played through all of the... Well, not all of, but most of the Metroidvania games just kind of for fun. Or the Castlevania Metroidvanias, I should say. Mostly for fun, just kind of to experience them all. So I hadn't played some of them. I never played the Soma Cruz games, for instance, prior to that. There's a lot of collecting in those games, but they're pretty good. But this one still stands out as one of my favorites. Not the first Castlevania I ever played. Interestingly enough, the very first Castlevania I ever played was Simon's Quest, Castlevania 2. It is often regarded as one of the worst Castlevanias. But I liked it. I enjoyed the sort of mystery and exploration aspect of it. So when this game became a thing, I was all about it. I don't think I ever owned a copy of it on the PlayStation, but I definitely borrowed a copy of it from somebody and played it that way. And then again, I played it on the Xbox when they re-released it there. And if I eventually get a PS4 at some point, which I don't have one right now, I'll probably get that collection that they released for that, which I think, I can't remember what's on that one. It's Symphony of the Night and, is it Bloodlines? I don't remember. Anyway, but after Simon's Quest, the next main Castlevania that I actually owned was Circle of the Moon for the Game Boy Advance, and that is another game that I thoroughly enjoyed. And I enjoyed that enough that I sort of realized I just like these kinds of games. So I, you know, started playing more of them, I guess. And, eventually found my way back to Symphony of the Night here, and continued playing that, or started playing that again, I guess, as the case may be, and was like, wow, yeah, this game is great. And I played through it once with a guide, so that I'd be able to find everything for sure. And now I just sort of know where most of the stuff is. Or I can get through it anyway, fairly easily, and at least get to, you know, true ending percentage, like 197, 198, without needing a guide or anything like that. But one of the things that the guide told me to do that I've now just sort of made a habit of is to grind these guys until you get to level 8. So then you start the game at level 8, basically. Which makes the beginning bit a little bit easier. And also, if you're new to the game, this sort of gets you used to the controls and how you have to... I haven't backdashed at all yet, for instance, but this gets you used to the controls and how the game works, and you're not really in any danger here. I mean, I suppose you could theoretically get hit so many times that you do run the risk of dying, but you'd have to get hit a lot by these guys who only do 1 damage to you at a time. Or you'd have to decide to go for a swim and not realize that that was causing damage for a little while, I guess. Anyway. The point is, also I've got this, which is fun. Not super useful, but fun. Yeah, oops, there I go, falling in the water. The water's not good for you at this point. It does damage. Every tick you're in there, I think you take a damage. 1 more level to go, guys. Stop it. Stop it. Stop hitting me, you jerks. Ah, that's not good. Jump, Alucard, jump. Thank you. Sometimes you make dumb mistakes. That's a thing that happens, especially when you're me. Anyway, I don't remember what I was talking about. Point is, I really like this game. I thoroughly enjoy it. Yes, it has some problems. There are some things that have not aged as well as they could have, say. But all in all, it's a thoroughly enjoyable experience for me. I always have fun when I play it. I like the Castlevania series as a whole. Between Castlevania and Metroid, which is the other main game in the Metroidvania thing, I think I'd prefer Castlevania. I like the game, I like the gameplay, I like the aesthetics, I like the music. The music is so good, especially in this one. But in basically all of them, except for... oh god, what's the one that has really bad music? It's like Harmony of Dissonance or something like that. It's one of the Game Boy ones, where graphically it looks pretty impressive for being on the Game Boy, but the audio is really bad. In part because they spent so much on the music. Or in part because they spent so much on the graphics. So the audio suffers because of it. And that game sounds like garbage, but basically every other Castlevania game has a great soundtrack. Which is good, because it's not the only place that I'm going to be standing around hitting a bunch of the same thing over and over again in this game. Like I said, it does have a few issues. One of those is grinding, which this is probably going to be the only time I grind for levels, really. But there is something that comes up later on, where if you're familiar with this game, the schmooze. There will be a lot of shmoo grinding that happens later on, as I look for one very particular item, which has a fairly low drop rate, and is not even like a necessary item. It just makes the game a lot easier, and it's kind of a fun thing to show off. So I am planning to get it. Those of you who, again, if you're familiar with the game, you already know what I'm talking about. If you're not, then you'll see when we get there. That's going to be in-game, though. That's, like, well into the run. How far are we? 136. I think the orange ones are worth 1, the purples are worth 2. And I think the reds are worth 2 as well. But I don't remember. Anyway, we got a lot of fishmen to kill. Let's see, 112. Red, you're worth 2. Yeah. Lots of fishmen to kill. 108, 107, 105, 104, 103, 102, 101, 100, 99, 98, 97, 95. Ooh, that was 2 of them, so that's 92. 89, 88, 87, 86, 85. Yeah, my count's good. 84. Alright, I'm gonna stop counting them now, but we're getting there. Poco a poco. Fishman by fishman. Well, bum bum bum. I enjoy the music enough that I have a Castlevania Symphony of the Night soundtrack Pandora radio station. You son of a beach. Well, bad idea. Gotta be pretty close now. Yep, 11, 9, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. Come on, motherfucker. There we go. Level 8. Alright, and with that done, we can leave. Goodbye! So you'll notice as well at this point, we're very strong. We're killing stuff in one hit. We're just kind of cruising along. Nothing's really a threat to us right now. There's a turkey, which is useful, because I might actually end up in trouble here.
Ah, Alucard. What is your business here?
I've come to put an end to this.
Still befriending mortals. I'll not ask you to return to our side, but I demand you cease your attack.
I will not.
You shall regret those words. We will meet again.
What? We will meet again. Alright, so he took all my shit. Oh no! Now you can see I have nothing. Except for the neutron bomb, the potion, a pot roast, and a turkey. And that zircon that I found. From one of the fishmen. But, now we have nothing. Oh no! Except our fists and our own skills. Alucard, for the record, in case you were unaware for whatever reason, is the son of Dracula, and so is in fact a vampire. This is all information that you get in Castlevania 3, if you play that, because he's one of the main characters in Castlevania 3. Now we got a first weapon, a short sword. So, you can see this game does have an inventory system. You can equip something onto either hand. There's a head slot, a body slot, and then there are a head slot, a body slot, a cloak slot, and then 2 other slots, which are like rings and amulets. Equipping stuff increases or decreases your stats, which you can see on the right there. You have strength, constitution, intelligence, and luck. Strength affects how much damage you do. Constitution affects how much health you have. Intelligence affects your mana pool, and there are a lot of spells that you can cast in this game right off the bat. Luck increases how often things drop for you. So the higher your luck, the more likely you are to get good stuff. Now, this is a common trope in the game. That's why I came into this room, even though I know it goes nowhere. We can't get through this wall, but there's a thing we want on the other side. This is the staple of the Metroidvania genre. If you've never played a Metroidvania, again, I'm sort of giving this talk as though that were the case. If you've never played a Metroidvania, the way the games work is you start out with very little, and as you make your way through whatever world it is that you're stuck in, you find stuff that allows you to progress past barriers that used to be there. This is a save point. I'm going to save. They heal you up to full, and they save your game. I'm going to do that. Anyway. So you find barriers that you cannot progress by, at least at first. Such as this wall here. We will find a way to get to the other side of that wall eventually. Which will not only grant us that heart power up there, which increases our maximum hearts, which is what we use for our sub-weapon, which right now we don't have one. But it also also fills them up, at least partly. Okay, I just got the first relic that I'm gonna get. It's the Cube of Zoe, or Zoe. As you can see, there are many relics to get. The Cube of Zoe causes items to materialize. It's a little bit vague, but basically what it means is that if I hit these now, they'll drop hearts. If I hit the little torches, they'll drop hearts, they'll drop money, they'll drop whatever else. Here's our map. You can see we have not covered that much of it yet, but we will. But we will. It gets so much bigger. These are area transitions. You can tell because there's no music, they always have the same graphic. And then there's a little bit of a load that happens when you go out. Welcome to the Alchemy Laboratory. This is our first main area of the game. It's filled with skeletons and axe armors and other things like that. Come back here, you jerk. So, the first skeleton that we fought, and that globe there had a hide Kirasa in it. The first skeleton that we fought was the dude with the blue shield. He's a pretty basic skeleton. He's just gonna move forward and he'll try and attack us when he thinks he's in range, and we can hit him and kill him. And that's all there is to it. The second kind of skeleton that we fought is just a plain white skeleton who throws stuff at you. That's all he does. He throws stuff at you. Sorry, I can't remember. I don't think the short sword has a special attack to go with it. Here's the axe armor. He throws axes, either high or low. If they hit you, they hurt. And they boomerang. This is a weird elevator thing. You can technically, if you're very quick and good about that, you can actually get it so that you can get the red skeleton to die on it, and then that'll raise it up, and then you can jump on it on its way down and use that to get back up above it and sort of skip the area. Or skip ahead a bit. But I don't care that much about skipping ahead. I'm just kind of playing the game for the sake of playing the game, having fun with it. First few artifacts that we're going to get are going to be stuff like the Cube of Zoe that just kind of do gameplay things. Or sort of build up the gameplay so that we're getting more and more elements. Eventually, we'll start getting stuff that does more interesting things. Here's our first secret. It is a big castle to explore, which means that there are hidden things all over the place, such as this room here, which gives us a heart max up and a couple of hearts. We also got our first sub-weapon as Alucard, the dagger. Sub-weapons in this game are used by holding up and then hitting the attack button. The dagger just goes straight forward and deals moderate damage. Not a lot, but it does deal some. These guys drop poison on you. If you get poisoned, unlike in other RPGs where it slowly takes your health down, it doesn't do that, but it does reduce all of your stats and make you very, very weak in a lot of ways. So, okay, there goes that axe return that I was talking about, how they come back at you. This game is also a lot about sort of being aware of the environment and figuring out how stuff works, at least at the very beginning here, it is. They kind of tone down on that eventually. But we're going to use that to get up here. And here leads us to another one of these small rooms where we get our first cloak. I like the cloaks a lot in this game because one of the things that they do, in addition to raising your stats, making you more powerful and effective, is they actually changed the appearance of your character. You can see that my cape has changed from the sort of generic black one that I had before. It was black on the outside and sort of a tan gray on the inside, a greenish tannish gray, and now it's red on the outside and more of a yellow tan in the middle, or on the inside. So the cloaks actually change your appearance as well as provide you with stat boosts and stuff. So I like that. I appreciate little touches like that when games do things that they didn't have to do. Like, nobody would have cared, I don't think, if they had never bothered to make the cloaks change colors like that. But it's cool. It's a nice touch. Alright. This game also features a lot of vertical areas, a lot of verticality. So, just kind of be used to that, I guess. Save points all over the place. So this is a good opportunity. Let's talk about the map a little bit. So if you hit the back, or the select button, or whatever it is, you'll see the map. Blue is areas we've been. You can see that there are some black spots that we haven't been to. I don't know if my cursor's going to show up. It's not. Okay. Well, the little gaps in the white lines, those indicate doorways, and then the red squares are save points. We will get one other type of square that will pop up before too terribly long. For our map. So this is the second, this is the second sub-weapon that you find as Alucard, the axe. It works a little bit differently. Magically sealed. Again, stuff that you can't get through at first that you'll get through later. Ow, you son of a biscuit. The axe, rather than going straight forward like the dagger does, goes in an arc. And it doesn't stop as it goes through that arc, it just hits things the whole way through. Now, time for our first boss fight. It's the old Castlevania favorites, Gaibin and Slagra. The axe is a great weapon to use here, because you get that arc, so you can throw it up and hit them even when they're high up above you. And if you throw it well, you can get both of them with it. Okay. Neither one of them are a particularly difficult fight on their own. Together, they're not much of a threat either, honestly. But if you can manage to hit both of them with every axe throw, then you just have less work to do after you kill the first one, is all. Anyway, I've moved them both into their second phase. Whoa, Jesus. Gaibin is now spearless. I believe Gaibin is the bird. And Slagra is firing big fireballs and is red and angry. Still not too much of a threat in the long run of things. You can see he's only doing 1 or 2 damage a hit. And if you're smart and you get right up next to him like that, when he does his big fireball thing, then he just becomes a chump. Bosses also always give you an HP max up at the end of the fight. And so that's our first boss fight with Gaibin and Slagra. I believe, again, I think Gaibin's the flying one and Slagra's the one with the spear. I don't remember. I honestly don't. And the game just looks great. All the graphical things, the way they do it, it all looks really good. I'm coming back out because I know that this is a save point, and I want to save after having defeated the bosses and stuff. Where was I? Oh yeah, Skyrim and Slogger. So they're sort of classics of the genre. They've been around for a long time in the Castlevania games. Also, secrets. We can't get there yet, but we'll get there eventually. And so those guys have sort of always been a fairly early boss fight in the Castlevania series when they show up. Oh, we got a cloth tunic. I think that's worse than our hide cuirass. Yeah. So it doesn't do us any good, but we did get one. Yay. Oh, this thing. Do I want this thing? Sure, I'll show this thing off. This is the bouncing prism. I don't know what it's actually called. That's what I call it, though. And what it does is, well, it bounces. It's a prism, and it bounces. You son of a biscuit. You son of a biscuit. Oh, great. Now I'm poisoned. So, it's kind of hard to see immediately, but you can probably tell that it's taking me way more hits to kill those guys than it normally does. And that's because I'm poisoned. If I was not poisoned, these guys would go down in about 3 hits. But the poison reduces all of your stats, including attack and defense, and makes it so that you just do less damage and you take more damage. So, rather than being able to kill these guys in like 3 hits, it's taking me many more, closer to 10 hits, probably. While I wait for the poison to wear off. Which I believe it's... Nope, it's still going on. You can tell because I'm flashing. Now I'm okay. I had that little flash of white there. That indicates that I'm no longer poisoned. I am A-okay to whack things for full damage again. And kill one of those guys out of revenge, because Jesus, he fucked me up real bad. Oops, that was dumb. Okay. Oh, we got 2 new weapons here. So this is the thing that I was talking about. The bouncing prism. And then this is holy powder, I guess? I kind of like it. It's like holy water, but instead of creating a little fire, it just sort of sits there, and as stuff walks onto it, they take damage. Alright. Anyway, so with that, we've acquired a handful of items, we've acquired a handful of good things. We're going to move on to the next area. Which is through here. We're now in the Marble Gallery. That's holy water, we've already seen it, we know how that works. It's, again, fairly similar to what we already have equipped. Somebody's calling me, but I don't know who that is, so you can stop. Alright. No, I'd rather have that. Watch out, that table's evil. The game's pretty generous about save points. They're all over the place, and even when there isn't one right near you, there are usually ways to get to one fairly easily. And since they do give you a full heal, very rarely do you find yourself in a position where you're just, like, screwed. This is the Skelerang. He throws 3 little boomerangs. They don't come back, though. They just go off into the ether. Not too bad. Just remember that they throw 3 and don't be like, aha, he threw his weapon, I'm gonna go hit him now, and then jump into his second and third one. Or do something really stupid like fall on him. Alright. Below us, you should have seen, clicking and laughing away, is the next main enemy type for this area, I guess. The marionette. Don't like the marionettes. For a couple reasons. Mostly because they cause the effect Curse, which is my least favorite status effect in the game. It sucks to be cursed. If you get cursed, you can no longer attack at all. It prevents you from being able to attack. If you hit the button, Alucard does this weird, like, shutter thing where he tries to attack, but he can't because he's been cursed. There are a handful of enemies that curse you when they hit you, and the marionettes are one of them. And I hate them for that. Being cursed sucks, because it removes the ability to attack, which means you can't do anything until you're not cursed anymore. Alright, next relic, the Spirit Orb. Let's see what that one does, shall we? The Spirit Orb shows enemy damage, so now, when we hit things, numbers will pop up to tell us how hard we hit them. It also will pop up, well, it's already been popping up to tell us how hard we've been getting hit. But now that shows up for enemies as well. I guess, just as sort of a quick heads up on it, the big hearts, like that one, those are worth 5. When you don't hit your max, anyway. They're worth 5 hearts. And the little hearts are worth 1. Oh, damn, I'm going down this hallway right now, aren't I? Yeah, I don't want to go here. Do I? No, not right now. So I could go through that hallway and I'd be okay. I would not die immediately if I went through there, but there are a couple of pretty heavy-hitting enemies that if I fucked up even a little bit would just end my day. So I'm instead going to go back up through the marionettes again. You can see it's now telling me how much damage I'm doing to them. About 9 per hit on the marionettes. $11 on the Skellerangs. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, I'm going to go back up because I don't want to go down that big hallway just yet. That big hallway has some very dangerous enemies in it that I don't really want to mess with. I guess it's also worth mentioning that the spells, again, I've shown that there's a spell slot, or you would have seen that there's a spell slot in the menu there. They don't ever tell you what they are. You can buy scrolls, I think, that will tell you what they are from the one merchant that exists in the game. But just through normal gameplay, they don't tell you what they are.
Wait a moment. You seem human, and yet, what do you here?
I've come to destroy this castle.
Then we have the same purpose. I'll trust you for now. I'm Maria. Who are you?
Alucard.
Not the talkative type, I can see. Well, perhaps we'll meet again, if you live that long. Farewell.
So that was Maria. If you remember early in the game, I mentioned that there was a child who comes and rescues you if you get low enough on health when you're playing as Richter. That's her. She's all adult now. This is the clock tower room, or the clock room. Rather. Right now we can't really do anything in here, but this room becomes very important later in the game. It becomes a big hub for a lot of other stuff. Anyway, back through here. More fleetmen. Let's go. Ow! Jerk. That's my own dumb fault. Anyway. Hey, critical. So, as I was saying, you don't get the spells. They don't just, like, throw them at you and go, here's your spells. You actually have to either buy scrolls from the merchant that will tell you what the spells are, or you can just kind of experiment with them. I don't remember what they are off the top of my head, unfortunately. There are a handful, and they do a variety of different things. No, I can't go in there right now anyway, so it doesn't matter. They do a variety of different things. Everything from providing you with healing to, yeah, I'll keep the book, to just being straight up attack spells. Like you can do the fireball thing, like what Dracula does in the opening fight with Richter. But in order to use any of those spells, you just have to enter the right button combination, as it were. We'll go down the long hallway in a second here. I can't remember what's up top right now, so I'm gonna go check that out. Oh, right, a blue door. I guess I haven't shown off the shield at all. So you can use the shield to block projectiles. Certain projectiles anyway, not every projectile is blockable. But you can use the shield to block projectiles and prevent yourself from getting hit. Which is always a good thing. Here we are in the long hallway. There are two enemies in here. We got this guy, whose name escapes me right now. I feel like I'm missing a weapon at this point. Like I should have something better than the short sword at this point. But oh well, we got that guy, and then there's the stone roses. And you can see how leveling up did increase the damage that we're doing. So I'm now hitting for 12 instead of 11. You can also jump up on top of this thing if you feel the need to. I don't know why you would. Because as I just showed there, you can't actually damage the woman. And here are the stone roses. And the big thing that they do is those little skull pellets that they spit out can turn you to stone. And if you're turned to stone, then you can't do anything until you're not stone anymore. So that's the big threat that they pose. They're not particularly dangerous, but you don't want to be stone. Anyway, next area. Alright, we're in the outer wall. I'm gonna go down first. Because why not? That guy. I can't remember his name. He's like Swordmaster or something. Missed, good pass. Hint, hint. You could fight him right now, and you could conceivably kill him right now. But he's not an easy fight. He's got a lot of health, and he hits real hard. And it's not really worth it at this point to fight him. But we're going to check this part out. Down here, you'll see this bird show up to its nest. This eagle. And then if you go up here and sort of position yourself correctly. How do you do this one again? There you go. You can look through it and you see the water. And some fish jumping out of the water. And then I think later if you come back to it, you can see the ferrymen out there. Fucking Medusas. So the Medusa heads, they pop out of nowhere, they fly at you in a sort of wiggly-wobbly zigzag pattern. If they hit you, they deal damage, and then you go flying backwards. And that's about it. The yellow Medusa heads will paralyze you if they hit you, which is much worse. So this big hunk of blue here is the next evolution of the axe armor. He hits really hard. Well, not really hard, but he hits much harder than the green axe armors do. And has a few more moves in his retinue, so we're going to use our sub-weapon to our advantage here. Take out a couple of those guys. What are we doing on level-wise, by the way? We've only gotten one level since I started. Yeah, I feel like I'm missing stuff. Like, I don't think I should still have the short sword at this point. I feel like I should have a better weapon. Anyway. Alright, time for a boss fight. Against? Ourselves? Egats. So yes, the next boss fight is against our doppelganger. He has the same weapon that we do. He throws daggers, which don't hit for very much, but he does throw them, and they do hurt if they hit, so watch out for those. He backdashes a lot, and he will occasionally turn into a bat and fly at us. He's having a lot of fun just throwing daggers. He also jumps if you jump. Man, he's throwing a lot of daggers. I'm not used to him throwing so many fucking daggers. Those will block right off the shield, though. There goes a stupid bat form. Anyway. He is kicking my ass today. Yo, that shouldn't have hit. Alright, well, let's go ahead and heal really quick. Wow, I'm playing like crap right now. So potions, if you put them in your hand, you can then use them to heal. The base potion heals 50 HP. There's a stronger potion. Are you kidding me? God damn it. What a waste of a potion. Anyway, there's a stronger potion that heals 100. And then there are potions that just give you max health when you use them. So that was a doppelganger fight. It's not usually that difficult. I just sucked. I was not good today. Here's my Gladius. Yeah, I definitely missed some things. I should have the dagger, and I totally forgot to go get it because I didn't bother to try and go up the elevator. That's where you get that, the little dagger. Don't drop down there, because if you drop down there, then it takes you back to where we just were. The elevator doesn't work at this point. Alright, so before we go to the new area, I want to go up top. Watch out for the Spear Knights. They hit pretty hard, and they've got a decent range, as you can see there. Okay, there's another level up. We got some archers up here. They're not too bad. You just kind of got to get close and whack them. The skeletal marksman. There's that big glowy wolf orb in there, which makes me feel like that's something that we want. This guy, similarly to the big purple dude that I mentioned earlier, this guy is a much stronger armor that you can choose to fight now, or you can hold off on and come back to later. He, I think, is less of a threat than the big purple guy. He also doesn't really guard anything of value. There's like a torch that'll drop $100 behind him, but that's about it. Anyway, we're gonna whack this thing until it clicks into place. Now the elevator is open. So if we go back to it, now call the elevator. You can see the cord working there. And get that. Soul of Wolf. Now, another relic. Soul of Wolf allows us to transform into a wolf, which, if we hit the trigger, we do just that. We turn into a wolf. We have no real attacks at this point, but it does allow us to move a little bit quicker. And eventually it does become a pretty good way to get around. Alright, we're going to finish going up. We can get the save point here. Save and heal. Now you can see just how big the map is really going to be. This is from east to west, to put it that way, I guess, or from one horizontal edge to the other. You see there's a lot of space that we have not explored, but this is the first big chunk of the map, the first moment where you really get to sort of look at it and go, holy crap, there's a lot going on here. The next place we're gonna go is this one down here. Now, this game doesn't demand that you go to certain places in a certain order, but it's usually not a bad idea. So this is our teleporter. See where it takes us. Back towards the front. So here we are, back in the beginning, and if you're very astute, you'll know what's on the other side of this door. That's right, it's that heart that we saw earlier. and a button which lowers this door. So again, here you can see how we have gained new access to an area that we previously didn't have. And the enemies here have updated. We've now got the those guys, the red zombies, the bloody zombies, instead of what had been there before. So, now we've got that. We're going to go up again. And this time, instead of going up and to the right, we're going to go up and to the left. Oh, actually, we're not. We need to go to the library, which means I'm sort of going the wrong way. Well, I'll take the scenic route. I need more money and stuff anyway. Well, more XP, anyway. Alright, let's see if I can get this elevator to work. So again, if you kill this guy on the elevator, he will eventually stand up and walk away. And when he does that, provided that fucking Axe Knight isn't there, fuck you, you piece of shit. Provided that Axe Knight isn't there, when you kill him, when the skeleton gets back up, it will lower the lift, and if you jump at it at the midpoint at just the right time, you can jump up onto the lift and then up onto the next platform from there. Which, not necessary to do at this point. You don't need to go up there to advance. This is not the next area we need to get to. But, if you can do it... fucked it up. I was very close, but I fucked it up. If you can do it, there is a fairly useful weapon up there. Well, not that useful anymore, but there is a weapon up there that you can get. And I think that might be about it, but... Got it. And that gives us the Bacillard. And the Bacillard deals less damage, but what's cool about it is how quickly it attacks. It is very short range, though. So, eventually, I don't think it's the Bacillard. It's a different. There's a different dagger weapon that you can use to help grind a particular enemy, sort of an enemy, I guess, which grants a lot of XP when you kill it. But it has a huge amount of health, and the easiest way to kill it is to sit there and just pick away at it for several seconds, because its defense is ridiculous. Again, if you've played the game, if you're in the know, if you're familiar with this game, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, well, you'll find out eventually. Let's see. Yeah, I'm taking the scenic route at this point. Which, whatever, that's fine. I know that's the axe. I have known that's the axe for a very long time. Why do I always grab it? We can show off how quick the wolf can move. And this is not even close to how quick the wolf will eventually be able to move. Before long, the wolf gets, well, I shouldn't say before long. Eventually, the wolf gets some pretty significant upgrades. This way we also haven't gone yet. This takes us to this elevator, which leads us to some more stuff. And I should have gone here earlier, which is I think why I was feeling like I was missing stuff. This is where you get the sunglasses, which gives me a boost to both intelligence and defense. All the animations are so great. Such a good looking game. And then this takes us to the other side of that cannon, so we can fire that, and then this is where the Bastard was. And then rather than having to go all the way back through, you can use this elevator to just go back up to the top of this area here. So you hold up when you get to the next floor, it'll just continue right on past it. Oh. How are we doing on money, by the way? 2,479. We're good. I should kill these guys because I need the XP. Go ahead and save. And then continue on back the way I came. I mean, again, even though I'm going the long way around, doing something that I kind of did the worst way possible, it's giving me money and experience, and that's good. I need those things. I need experience more than I need money, but, you know. It's very easy to make money a complete non-issue in this game. So, yeah. Alright, and then I can just drop down here if I want and get hit by this axe knight like a dummy. As opposed to going up and around. All takes you to the same place after all. If you see me swiping wildly at walls, it's because I'm convinced that there's a secret there when there isn't a secret there. But I don't remember where all the secrets are off the top of my head, so, you know. Oh, nonsense. That was beyond. Whee! You do a lot of traveling in this game. I will say that. You do a lot of sort of moving from area to area over the course of this game. But the areas are all pretty interesting, and as I've mentioned before, the music is really good, so it's never bothered me that I have to do all this traveling. Those little green guys, by the way, are called flea men. They're obnoxious when they come at you in groups, but on their own they're not too bad. You just have to wait for them to jump and then hit them while they're in their arc. Hey! Killing that skeleton. Alright, so we're officially killing the Skellerangs in one hit, which is nice. It's one of the little progression things that you get over the course of the game, is the more you play, the better you get, obviously, both in terms of your ability as a player and the damage that you do when you hit things, because you're leveling up and getting better gear. And so stuff dies in one hit, or fewer hits, anyway. No, that's the wrong way. I can't go anywhere from there. That's a magical door. That's right. Anyway. So now we're killing skeletons in one hit, which is nice. It's an improvement. Working our way through the long hallway. Killing these people. Getting our 250 bucks. 387 to the next level. Got a little ways to go still. That $250 piece, by the way, is always 250 bucks, and it always indicates the change from the lizard lady thing to the stone roses. I can't remember what the lizard lady thing is called. It's a fairly long, complicated name. Something about duo, or something. Duocephalus, or something like that. I don't remember. Anyway, so we want to go to the library, which is going to be our next area. And the way that we get there is we continue to go up, and then we take the first door, not the second door. So not the teleport door, but the door after that. That was a dumb decision on my part. So we made it all the way back. Go ahead and save. That was a much longer trip than it needed to be. Yeah, much longer trip than it needed to be. But we're back now. We made it. Here we are again at the doppelganger room. He's not back, thankfully. I don't have to fight him and embarrass myself again. God, that was so bad. And then we want to take this one up to the next level. This elevator goes real fast. And this will lead us to the next area that we want to be in. Because there's a thing that we can get in here that will allow us to progress. Ow. Gotta watch out for that guy. His little thrust there is enough to hit you even from a backdash, so you have to backdash twice to be out of the way and then move back in. I think that guy's called Dullahan. Anyway, this is a save point. Oh no, it's not. Save point's upstairs, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. Anyway, these fucking things, the ectoplasms, are the worst, because they cause curse. Ah, fucking son of a biscuit. I do have an uncurse that I could use. And as you can see, you can still use your sub-weapons when you're cursed. You just can't do your regular attack. Thankfully, this particular sub-weapon demolishes those guys. But we have magic books. And this guy, which you might be going, hey, you can't actually hit it. But if you angle downwards when you swing, then you do an actual downward angled swing. That's how you hit those things. You do have to manually angle yourself that way, though. It's a little bit... It's not... I won't say it's hard to do, but you just have to be aware that you need to do it. So at this point I'm going down rather than up, because that's going to take us to the next thing that we need. But I'm going to go up because there is something up here that's there is something up here that's worth getting. God, I know how words work. So we're going to get that first, and then we'll go talk to our friend. Our only friend. That's not true. Maria's our friend, I guess. But now we have the fairy scroll. And if we go into relics, you'll see that the fairy scroll displays the enemy's name. So now when we hit enemies, not only will we see how much damage we're doing, but we'll also see what they're called. See, these guys are called magic tomes. They're not particularly difficult. They're not really a boss or anything like that. They're just sort of guarding the fairy scroll. But now we can see what enemies are called when we hit them, which is why I know what everything's called, not because I sit there and read the monster book, which there is one of those, by the way, the bestiary. But yeah.
It's been a long time, old one.
Oh, it's you, Master Alucard. What do you need?
I need your help.
Young Master, I cannot aid one who opposes the Master.
You won't go unrewarded.
Really? In that case, just tell me what you need.
I love how much of a shitheel the librarian is. He's like, I can't help somebody who wants to fight the master. And you're like, I'll give you money. It's like, oh, okay, well, what do you want? Anyway, so the first thing we need to buy from him is this, the Jewel of Open. The Jewel of Open opens those locked blue doors. So now we can get through the blue doors. That's the whole point of that, or the whole point of coming here. He also has a bunch of other stuff, a lot of single-use items that deal a good amount of damage when you use them. Library cards, which allow you to warp back here, and are actually fairly useful in certain situations. A meal ticket, which does just what it says. It gives you food. Saber, the mace, these are all weapons that you can get. I'm probably going to grab the mace while I'm here, because I can afford that. And it's a pretty decent weapon to start with. He also has this one, Joseph's Cloak, which allows you to pick the color, but as you can see, it's 30,000 bucks, and we don't have that kind of money right now. And then he has some things like the Medal and the Ring of Pails, which just give you boosts to basically everything. And then the Duplicator. I always forget that even exists. You can also get the castle map, which gives you it fills in some of the map for you. So I'll grab that so you guys can see it. And then, as I mentioned, you get spells, and if you pay him, he will give you a scroll that teaches you how to do that spell. But we don't really need those, because you can pretty easily find them, figure them out yourself.
Thank you.
So I'm going to instead get the mace, and then you can go here to buy tactics if you want to learn how to fight the different things that you've already fought.
I'm interested in this.
But here's our enemy list. And you can kind of just cycle through the different enemies here. Dracula, the Blood Skeleton, you can see that they have things that they're strong against, so things that don't do as much damage to them, things that they're immune to, things that they're weak against, so things that do more damage to them, and then stuff that they absorb, if there's anything that they just gain health from. It also lists what they drop, if they drop anything. Some of them drop stuff, some of them don't. Most of the enemies drop at least one thing. Usually one normal, so Gaibin is the flying one and Slagra is the spear guy. Usually one normal thing that they drop fairly regularly, and then one rare item that they drop much less often. Yeah, Diplocephalus. That's what that one's called, the Diplocephalus. So yeah, you can see, again, all these different things here. Bone musket. There's the stone rose. It never opened up when we fought them yet, but that's what they look like when they open up. The Axe Knight. Bone Archer. Doppelganger 10. Yeah. You can also see the level that they are, which, for the bosses, that's sort of like, you should be about this level when you fight it. There's the Sword Lord. Duran, that's his name. And then that's the end of the list for us. That's all we got there. And then you can also play music. There are a lot of different songs. But that's the library.
Farewell for now.
Now you may also notice that there's a strange hole in the floor underneath the librarian.
What can I do for
That's there for a purpose, which we'll get to later.
Farewell for now.
But now we have the Jewel of Open, so we can get through those blue doors. Which means that's going to be our next stop, which is, if you see where it goes from light blue to dark blue on the far left, that's going to be the first area that we check out with that Jewel of Open. And then there's, again, a room that you can also see sort of on the way there, if we run all the way back, which we might do, just because, that we ran into a door, or a magic door on there as well, and we can go check that out. But let's go explore the rest of the library first. We'll go downstairs and do that. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't even equip that goddamn mace that I bought. There we go. So now we have the mace, which has a different attack pattern. Slightly. It's not as effective against the books because, well, they're books. It's a mace. But against things like Duran here, it's much more effective. So it's worth having, at least for that. I wasn't paying attention. It also swings in a slightly different arc, because he kind of pulls through, which means that you don't actually have to angle your attacks down to hit the plants with it, in the way that you do with the swords. As long as you're crouched next to it, you'll be okay. I'm just gonna do this through here. Damn it! Hate those things. I hate the ectoplasms. They always manage to get me. Alright, so I'm gonna wait for the curse to wear off, and I'm gonna go through this next area here. There we go. Which is filled with fleamen. Which, again, the best way to take them out is just to wait for them to be at the low point of the arc, or in the... rather, for them to be falling after they've made their jump. Wait for them to be falling back down, and then hit them then. But they can become very annoying if you move too quickly and run into a whole bunch of them at once, and they're all jumping. Alright, and this was to get the Bronze Cuirass, which is the next level up for our armor. So now we have slightly more defense. And that also finishes out what we can get to in the library right now. You can see that it's got a lot still to go, or that it's got a whole chunk there still to go, but we can't get there yet. I should also, well, no, I won't. I was going to talk a little bit more about the map and what we can see of it so far, but spoilers. Wow. Sometimes they do that, where they just kind of run at you. Most of the time they do that jump, though. Thankfully, they don't really hit hard enough to be a threat on their own. You're not going to accidentally die because a flea man ran into you. And that's where, see, they can become dangerous when they're combined with another enemy that's able to sort of throw you into them. But we're done here. I'm gonna go take the long way around so I can save, and then we'll walk on back. So we can check out the room on the way, as it were, that we wanted to look at, now that we have the Jewel of Open and can open those blue doors. It's all misty in here now. Da, 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 da. Actually, I'm pretty sure I should be able to, provided I don't just not jump, I should be able to make that jump. I think it's just a gem. So at this point, as well, we're basically done with finding stuff that's just going to allow us to hit or to know. Bleh. We're done with UI stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. We're done with finding UI things, like, you know, the fairy scroll that tells us what the name of the thing that we're fighting is, and the item that tells us how much damage is being done. Those are done. All the stuff we're going to get now is going to be stuff like this, so that we can more easily jump across gaps and get that life max up there. Look at that little mouse scurrying around inside the attic. It's kind of cute, really. Anyway. Yeah, most of the stuff that we find from now on is going to be, I guess, more useful for exploration and stuff, like being able to get to that, for instance. That is, after all, what this whole game is all about, is exploration. Alright, so that's what stone looks like. You literally just turn into stone. Thankfully, it doesn't do damage. It just causes you to be petrified. And while that's not really an issue here, where it's just this guy and nothing else, it can become an issue when there are other things around, because it does deal, you take extra damage if you get hit while you're stoned. And for whatever reason, if you come in from this direction, the stone roses always get you. If you come from the other side, they never do. I'm not sure why that's the case, but it is. You can see we're doing quite a bit more damage to the Diplocephalases now. Diplocephali? I don't know. Those things. Bump-a-bump-bump. It is possible, if you hit those at just the right time, that you can in fact kill them without going through that whole death animation. Because, god damn it, I'm stupid. Anyway, because if you hit them while she's in the middle of her fireball animation, then it just kills it immediately. So now we can open these blue doors, which leads us in here, which lets us step on that big switch. And that opens up something else that we can't see at the moment, but that we're going to see in just a second here. And, not going to get us exploring a whole lot right now, because we're just not at the level that we need to be. So there's a free library card. Part of why I didn't buy one, because you get a couple of them for free, and you never need that many. They're useful, but you never need them. Anyway, so that switch opened up those, or that, yeah, those purple doorway things. Those purple floor panels, I guess. I say those because it also opened this one. And this one actually leads to another area, which we're gonna sort of poke into just to say that we poked into it. But then we're gonna come back out and go to the place that I was planning to go to the first time, because this area gets tricky. To put it simply, it's tricky. Wow. Alright. So we still got a little ways to go before we get to that next area, but that is the next area that we want to go to. And, well, we could explore the place I just went. We're not going there. Like I said, we're not going there. That's a much more difficult area than the one that we're going to, the one that we're actually going to next. And while I could probably survive there and get all the good stuff that's down there, it would be very dangerous, and I'd probably die, and I don't want to die. So, we're not going there yet. I do think what I might do, though, is go through that bottom passageway this time around, so we can see what's in there, because I'm in slightly better shape to deal with it now that I have a bit more health and better weapons and stuff. You son of a biscuit. Stop it. The Fleamen are sort of a staple of the series. They've been here since the very first Castlevania game. It doesn't mean I have to like them, though. Go ahead and save before I start making my way down that hall, because there are still enemies that could just fuck my day up real good in that area. Anyway, so we're going back through here. Again, we're doing way more damage now, which is great. We're killing most of the enemies that we're fighting in 1 or 2 hits now, instead of what had been, you know, 3 or 4 hits, if not more than that. I didn't like that they were right underneath me. I had a suspicion I was going to fall on one of them if I wasn't careful. I'm just killing them out of spite at that point. They don't serve me any purpose there. There's nothing over there for me right now. I think it's this one? No, it's the... yeah, next one down. It's worth 100. And the rest of them are all hearts, I believe. So, this is a big long hallway. It's all one huge room. The first level of it, not too bad. We fight a Plate Lord here. He does good damage if he hits you with that, but it's pretty easy to avoid. He telegraphs the shit out of it, so all you have to really do is pull way back when he starts swinging it. doesn't take a whole lot to go down. He's also worth a decent chunk of experience, which is nice. The Skelerangs here. Not that big of a threat. When you're coming back up, they're more of a problem, because they start to throw before you can get to them when you're coming back up. And they don't hit that hard, but they do hit hard enough that it's a pain. Here's the ghosts. They all die in one hit right now, which is good. It is possible. If we'd come here before, when I first got to the area, and I said no, I'm not going there yet, they would have taken more than one hit to kill, which would have made them very difficult. Because the only reason they're so easy right now is because they die in one hit. And so, because they die so quickly, they don't really have the opportunity to group up on me and fuck me over that way. But that was one of the reasons why I didn't want to come down here. This was the other reason. Cthulhu here hits really hard. Like, insanely so. To the point where, like, there's a very real chance I'm about to die here. Yeah. See, he's a hard fight. He's a very, very big, powerful guy. I guess I shouldn't say he's necessarily a hard fight. He's not, really. He just hits very hard if you get hit by him. And I was kind of being dumb there, allowing myself to get hit. This is a good opportunity for me to remember what the fuck Soul Steel is, though. Because if I can remember that, that would be very, very useful for recovering health. So pause one moment while I look that back up, because I can never remember what it is. Okay, it is left, quarter circle, right to left, down, right, plus attack. And it costs 50 MP every time I want to use it. But what it does do, or what it does is very, very useful. So let's see if I can pull it off first. It's not easy to do, unfortunately. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I'm not good at doing it. There it goes. Part of the issue, I think, is my controller. It doesn't have... It's not buttons for the D-pad. It's like a whole pad thing, so it's a little bit difficult to accurately hit the buttons that I want to hit there. And this opens up this doorway, so now we can more easily move through here. There we go. So yeah, Soul Steel, when it goes off, deals damage to all enemies on screen and heals you for each piece of damage that it does. So it's a very useful ability for when you want to heal up. It's also, I think, Alucard's only consistent healing ability. That will basically heal you every time you use it. It's also great in rooms like this where you have enemies that respawn, because you can just use it over and over and over again and continue to get health back from them. And now that we've used a spell, if we go to spells, it has it listed here. Yeah, so you can remember how you're supposed to do it. Again, very useful ability, very effective spell. Not super easy to pull off, though. And we're officially killing the Axe Knights in one hit. That's pretty great. Yeah. So that's Soul Steal. That's good. It's useful. There are other spells that are also good and useful that you can get, which, you know, at one point I'll just try and show off all the spells, I'm sure. But, yeah, that point is not right now. Alright, and so this will take us to the hallway that we need to be in to get where we're going next. Save and heal. Oh, shit. Alright, here we are. Into the next area. And this is actually the next area that we're going to explore. You can tell, because Maria's here.
So, we meet again, Alucard.
It seems so.
As friendly as ever, I see. It's strange. This castle is different than I remember it.
This castle is a creature of chaos. It may take many incarnations.
So I can't trust my memories, huh? Oh well, I'll do my best. Good luck.
Bye, Maria. That also, I think that might be the only in-canon explanation for why the castle's different in every game. Probably wrong about that. I'm sure it's explained in another game as well. But that's, I think, the only one in this game that explains why the castle is different than it was in previous games. If you're not in the know, by the way, Alucard actually first appeared, not in this game, but in Castlevania 3, as one of the many playable characters in that game. Where he looked quite a bit different, both in the in-game and in the box art. But... Ow! So you'll notice there's all these vases and things up above us that we can't really get to yet. We will eventually be able to get to those, but it does take some time. You might also notice that I'm focusing on the top bone pillar rather than this bottom one. That is because if you kill the bottom one first, then the top one comes rolling down the hill at you. And if it hits you, you will take damage. These guys, the corner guards, not too bad. You just have to be patient and careful with them. I mean, that's true of basically every enemy in this game. Guys, it's like Dark Souls. Anyway. Very soon we're going to get up to the thing that I was talking about that you use the dagger on. And it's that right there. That spike ball. Which you may notice, I'm hitting it for 1 damage. Which is not a lot. The spike ball, however, if you actually manage to kill it, is worth a lot of experience. So, here's the trick to that. You come in from this side, first of all, because you can't really do anything from the other side. You can see the corner guard is also fairly ineffectual from this angle. And then you come down here, and I think that the Battler will, or the Bastillard will do it, but I don't remember for sure. It might not. It might need to come back later. Yeah, and then if you just hold down and the attack button, you continually hit for 1 damage. And you'll see just how long it takes to do this. But, really quick, what is my experience? I need 58 to level up. So, this will almost certainly level me up. Killing this one thing. By sitting here like this and hitting this over and over and over again. So if you have the patience, you can do this to grind experience at this point. It's very slow, it's very boring, it takes a long time, but this spike ball is worth a good chunk of XP. I don't remember how much, but I want to say it's like, it might be like 200 experience or something ridiculous like that. You just have to sit here for a very long time. The stab effect looks pretty nice, though. You get to listen to the cool, gothic orchestral choir. And there are weapons that will do more than 1 damage to the spike ball that you can do this with. And obviously, there we go, level up. So, yeah. Obviously, if you sit there long enough, or if you, what was I trying to say? If you level up enough, then you'll do more damage to it as well. But, alright, at this point we are in the chapel proper. This guy, the puppet sword, surprisingly tough fight. You can kill all the little swords that he has floating around him, and when you do that, he becomes much less of a threat. But he's still tricky to fight. Ow. Because it's hard to get an angle on him that's not going to result in you getting hit. Especially since he is so fond of kind of floating away from you. When he does that full rotation, though, that lets you know that he's about to stab out at you. Damn, I'm getting beat up again. Not playing great today, gonna be totally honest. There it goes. Alright. So with that, we can now explore this room freely. If you come up here, you can get some goggles, which is some slightly better headgear than the sunglasses that I have. They actually give me a boost to my intelligence rather than a minus, which is a plus for sure. Get a couple quick hits in on that guy, and then we'll go up the other side. I'm just gonna kind of ignore it. Right now. I believe this, yes. So this is kind of a cool room. You can come in here and you can sit down, and then a preacher shows up, and he'll talk to you. And he'll forgive you your sins, right? The other thing that you can do, well, if it's blue, that's what he does. If it's not blue, there are other things that can happen. If he's, I think it's pink, it's either pink or purple. Yeah, you can see he kind of chuckles before he pulls the curtain. He will try and stab you with a bunch of nasty stuff. Let me see if I can get him to do the... Because once he does that, he's, like, stuck there, and he'll, yeah, still do it, even if you're not sitting there. So he tries to stab you with nasty stuff, and then there's another one, I think, in the purple robe, or the green robe, who will actually, like, give you something of value. I don't remember. There's something of value here, though. Pardon me while I look that up. Yeah. So, you can sit on either side, and you'll get a priest if you sit on that side, or you'll get a confessor if you sit on this side. And the confessors, just like the priests, have both a good one and a bad one. And the green dress that we just saw is the bad one. She tries to stab you. And I think it's a blue dress, or it might be a white dress, I don't remember. But there's another dress who's not interested in ruining your day that will show up. And I guess on occasion the priest will leave grape juice behind, so you can heal up with that. The orange-red dress, and she comes and confesses her sins to you. And that's it. So it's just kind of an interesting little room that they put there for flavor. Which I appreciate, I think that's cool. Even if it doesn't do anything, it adds texture, it adds flavor to the castle. So that's what the Skellerangs do, is they throw those two Skellerang things out, the giant boomerangs, and if they hit you, they deal a decent amount of damage. If they don't hit you, then they don't hit you, obviously. Can't get through here because there's this tiny man in the way. But that's the Skellerang, so we need to go up. And as you go up, you'll run into these black crows who swoop down and hit you. And of course it is possible to get them before they swoop down, but I'm playing like garbage today. So I'm doing stupid stuff and letting myself get hit by these dumb crows. Like that. Again, being stupid, letting myself get hit by shit that I shouldn't be getting hit by. There we go. Yeah, you can see just how much health that gives you back if you do it in an area that has a lot of enemies around. The Blue Raven also will swoop down and try and kill you. This is Hell Room. Welcome to Hell. Haha. No, we'll figure out what we do there later. Yeah. God fucking damn it. Stupid, stupid, stupid. God damn it. Ah! I hate these fucking birds. It wouldn't be so bad if I wasn't being stupid and just letting myself get fucked by them over and over and over again. There we go, I got that one. That's not what I wanted to do at all. Ah, I'm so bad at it. I shouldn't even be hitting up, like there shouldn't be... I should not be using my sub-weapon when I'm trying to do Soul Steal, because up is not even part of that actual attack. Anyway. Didn't need it at that point, because I knew I was going to get that fucking... that health up, but still. It's a useful ability, and I wish I could do it consistently, and I've never been good at doing it consistently. So the bone halberds aren't really a threat as long as you duck under their attacks. Bats are never really a threat as long as you're not stupid, I guess. And just hit them before they hit you. Bad idea, I can't get to that. Wah. Zircon's not really worth much. It's a saleable item. So you can just, you sell it to the librarian, get some extra cash, and then you can buy more stuff from him. Boss fight! Who is it? Oh yes, this thing, the Hippogriff. Not a particularly difficult fight. Especially if you can trick it into just doing that over and over again. Kind of a fun bit of extra flavor that it adds, though, that you're fighting this crazy horse monster thing. It does drop eggs, which will hatch into tiny hippogriffs, and the tiny hippogriffs will fly around and attack you if you let them. So the trick is just to kill the hippogriff eggs before they can hatch. And here's Maria.
Impressive. You're very strong.
What is it you want? You didn't come here to tell me that.
You're right. Do you know the name Richter Belmont?
Of the Belmont clan? Of course, but...
He disappeared about a year ago, and I'm sure he's here. If you see him, please let me know.
As you wish, my lady.
Thank you. So, you do know how to be a gentleman.
I do like that they show the little sprites of Richter and then Simon. I also like that Alucard goes, of the Belmont clan? Like there's more than one, you know, oh, Richter Belmont of, you know, of the Donahues. He's getting me with an attack that shouldn't be getting me. Nonsense. Anyway. I think this is a save point. Yes, it is. Cool. Go ahead and save. Having now killed another boss and made a good amount of progress. It's actually, I think it's Trevor, not Simon, that you get to see the little sprite of, which would make more sense because, you know, Alucard fought alongside Trevor, not Simon. But oh, and this is, I think, where we get, is it the Talwar or is that the Falchion? It's the Cutlass, that's right. So you get a free Cutlass here, which I think, yeah, is worse than what we have right now. This is one of the complaints that people have had about this game that I fully understand, is that a lot of times the progression feels off, if that makes sense. So, like, the weapons that you find in new areas a lot of times aren't better than what you already have, which sort of makes it feel like, well, why did I bother to go get that if it's worse than the one that I already have? I just wasted my time, basically. Which is a fair complaint, and I agree that a lot of times the weapons, especially when you find them sort of in tucked away corners of the map, a lot of times just sort of feel like, well, that is worse than what I got. Why did I bother? Here we are now at the Castle Keep. This is actually where we started our game, when we began as Richter. And I'm gonna go here real quick, because this is the next teleport room. So each teleport room, I'll warp through them real quick so you can see this, have different backgrounds. So this one is the horse. The horse is what I think of as the first one, because it's the closest to the beginning of the game, in terms of where you are. And then I believe we'll go next to the Scorpion, yes, which is the Clock Tower, or the Tower of Mist teleporter. And then the one that we just came from is the Lion, which is closest to Dracula. Drac himself, when we fought him as Richter, was just up these couple rooms here. We will eventually get a way to navigate vertically much more quickly. Tierfing. So Tierfing might actually be... Yeah, right now it's doing 0. Okay. Tierfing is the cursed dark sword. It does eventually get some benefits to it, but when you first get it, it's very... It doesn't have any real use, unfortunately. And now at this point you might be going, oh no, we're trapped. How do we get out of here? We can't jump that high. But you got these nice pillars that you can use to get back up top. Fucking flea riders. Ah, I hate them. I hate all flea men in all forms. They're all monsters. They all need to die. They should all be destroyed. But what we do get over here is the Leap Stone. Leap Stone lets us double jump. Heyo! I shouldn't need to tell you just how much that opens up the game. We can double jump now. We can go get all sorts of new stuff that we couldn't get before. I also like that when you double jump, your cape turns into like a set of giant bat wings for a minute there. It's a really cool little effect. This also allows us to now cover this area without having to, without having to wait for that lift to get there. This will allow us to get to some of the stuff in the Holy Chapel there, which is, I think, where we're going to go to next, because we can't really get anywhere else from here if we're going to go back that way. We could teleport, but I'm trying to avoid using the teleporters because it allows me to sort of explore more and check out more cool stuff and continue to grind without really having to just sit there and grind like I did at the very beginning. But yeah, now we can double jump, which is cool. It's awesome. It gives us a lot more mobility, a lot more freedom in terms of where we can and can't go. This also means we can officially use the clock room that I mentioned earlier. We couldn't do anything with, but was going to become very important later. We can actually get up into the first couple areas that you can reach in the clock room now. Which is somewhere that we're going to go shortly. That's not our next stop, but it's definitely somewhere we're going to go check out pretty soon. So, some things that the double jump gets us. We can now get to a few new places in the chapel. Eventually we're going to go back over to the library and get to a few new places there that we can get to now that we can double jump. That also allows us to get to some places in the Tower of Mist that we couldn't get to before. Wow, that guy wanted to die. We're now level 17. Here we are back at the Hippogriff room. Yeah, see, he's hitting me on like a weird backspin thing, but it doesn't look like it should actually be hitting at that point. But whatever. Still can't do anything about the spike room. Ow. There it is. God, I have such a hard time pulling it off, but it's so good when you get it. Okay. Can't even remember. Why did I not go any further on this direction? Oh, right. Because there's a tiny man there. We can't go any further that way. The other thing we didn't really do is there is another exit out of the Phantom Sword room, out of this room. This leads to a whole new area as well, which I'm going to poke into so we can see what it is, and then I'm going to turn around and go back out. Also because we can't really get into it from here. But that gives us our first new shield, the Night Shield. I've been forgetting that there's some of the weapons have special attacks if you put in like either a quarter circle or a half circle before you hit attack. Ow. 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 You're not really worth fighting right now, if I'm being totally honest. It's a much harder fight than it needs to be for the moment. So we can now get up here with the double jump, which gives us the Morning Star, which I believe is just the next tier up from what we already have. Yeah. Which is good. It hits hard. It deals decent damage. And we didn't have to do much to get it. So, I'm gonna go ahead, just because I can, why the fuck not. I'm gonna kill this thing again. And we're gonna get a better idea of how much experience it's actually worth. I got 770 till my next level. Okay, I'm now doing enough damage that the crits actually do deal more damage. Never mind. I thought it said it was doing 4. It's not, it's still doing 1. Theoretically, you could count all the ones and figure out how much health this thing has from that, I guess. Whack. There it goes. We're already down to 467, so that thing is worth over 300 experience. So, it's absolutely worth taking the time to blow it up if you have the time to blow it up. The time and the equipment that you need to blow it up easy like that. Ow, stupid. I'm swinging from way too high up. So, we can now break these open and you can see what's in there, but we still can't get to most of them. Or some of them anyway, not most of them necessarily, but we still can't get to some of them even with the double jump. It's just slightly out of reach. We need something else to get up there. But we can get a bunch of the good stuff. And fill out the map, which is also good. There is a piece of armor that we're going to get before too terribly long that gives you defense based on map percentage cleared. And so clearing out a huge chunk of the map means that the defense it gives you is pretty outrageous by the standards of the other sort of stuff that you're able to get at that point. Nonsense. Fuck you. That's BS game. Oh well, whatever. These things are definitely more of a threat from this angle than they are from the original angle we fought them at. Again, one of the big things that this boosts is just mobility. It's easier for us to move around, it's easier for us to get to places that we couldn't necessarily get to before. Yeah, which is always a plus, always a good thing. Whoopa! Okay, so, a few places I want to go next. Well, there's a few places that we can go next. So we're just going to kind of explore for a minute, check some stuff out. as it were. So, there's that room above us. The part of it, too, is that I'm not 100% sure what I can and can't get to now. I know that there are a few areas that I can definitely get to now that I couldn't get to before. Like I mentioned before, the library has some stuff for us now that we could not access previously. But I can't remember if, for instance, this room above me, I don't think so yet. I think I still need to have a different mobility option before I can actually get up to the top of this room. Yeah. But this is taking us in the right direction, so we'll just follow this over to the library. And then from the library, we can continue on. Yeah, we can continue on to the new stuff that we want to get to over there. If you are paying attention to maps, or to the map at all, and you have any sort of sense of architecture, you'll probably know what that side room that we keep seeing that we haven't been able to get into is, or where you get to it from anyway. What am I doing on cash? 3962, okay. I mean, naturally, when we get back to the library, we're going to want to spend some of that hard-earned cash that we've got with the librarian, buy some new good stuff, if we can. So, you know. Down. Sorry, something bit me in the side there. I had to kind of take a minute. Just a little pinch. Still not quite far enough to jump all the way across, but we can get almost all the way across now. I think if I timed it just right, I could get all the way across. But anyway. But if either of these two were open now, I would also be able to go up through there. Like I can double jump up onto either that one or that one. One of these opens semi-randomly. It has to deal with the game time. So not randomly at all, but it opens in a way that we can't really control it. The other one opens if you use... Okay, so this one just opens, so we're going to go up there. Because we can. The other one, you have to use the stopwatch sub-weapon. This also leads to a new area, which I'm going to sort of poke into real quick. But we're not going to explore. Not because we're blocked off in this case. We can continue to explore this place, but this is going to be sort of the next big area we go to after we're done in the library. We come back to Olrox's quarters. So if we get the stopwatch, which I think there's one pretty nearby, actually, if I'm remembering correctly, we can come back there and go into that other room as well. Is it here? No. I think it's like the next room has one. No. Maybe it's upstairs. I don't remember. There's a stopwatch fairly nearby, somewhere around here that you can get. Without having to run too far away. It's in this room? I think it's in this room. Yeah, there it is. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and explore that other side room that we can get into now, because we have the double jump. Stopwatch is a pretty interesting sub-weapon. It freezes time, as one would assume from a clock, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, it freezes time. That includes on enemies. So they will stop moving for the duration of the stopwatch. Or the duration of the stopwatch's effect. And again, if we use it, it opens this side room here. So that we can get in and get the Alucard shield. That don't seem quite right. If we look at the description for the Alucard shield that we just got, resembles family shield. Not is family shield, resembles family shield. What else is in here? The Alucard mail and the Alucard sword. Again, that don't seem quite right. Resembles family sword. See that the damage on it isn't great. And if I go here, resists fire, lightning, ice? Question mark? Not great there either. So, I think there's some reason to use the Alucard gear for something. I don't remember what it is. It might be like a luck boost or something like that, but it's not good. So it causes your equipment, or it ends up reducing your effectiveness pretty dramatically. I could be wrong about the luck boost thing too. I don't actually remember what it does, if anything. But it's pretty easy to look that up on the web if I want to, I guess. Can look into that at some point. This again is the other area that we can go to, that we'll go to after we're done in the library. But for right now, I'm pushing through to the library, and that's where I want to go. Stone Rose time. So again, as I mentioned, when you come at him from the left, from this way, the first shot basically always misses you. Whereas when you come at him from the right, the first shot basically always hits you. I don't know why that is. I guess it has to do with the fact that they're not exactly centered in their little covey things, those little whatever they're called that they're hiding out in. At this point too, we're probably tough enough that we could challenge this guy if we wanted to. He still wouldn't be easy. Oh, never mind. I thought he had way more health. I'm just being dumb. Mysterious room with nothing in it. Yeah, it's a pot roast. I think that's all this room has. And then when you come back out, the Armor Lord's gone again. Look at that. How fun. Okay. So we need to be missed to get through there, so we can't do that yet. And I think that's basically it on this sort of lower portion here. But there is some stuff we can get up top. For instance, we can now get to this item. A garnet. Which is, you know, worth some money. So we'll sell that when we get to the library. I'm gonna go ahead and save, since I don't think I've saved since we left the sort of starting area. Or the chapel. Anyway. Okay. I was curious what the delay was on the stream, because when I was doing Fallout, it was like 30 seconds, but it looks like it's only about 5 or 6 seconds right now, which isn't too bad. I don't think that anybody's actually watching at the moment on the stream, so kind of a moot point, I guess, but still. I'm glad that it's not as bad as it was last Thursday. Alright, so here's the library here. I'm gonna grab the few things that we can grab in here first. Before I actually head up into the library. So there are a few new goodies that we can grab. Ow. Few new goodies that we can grab with our new double jump ability. For instance, we can get to this guy now. Which I think actually I could have gotten as soon as I got the wolf, and I just didn't because I wasn't thinking. But we can get to that, and we can go into this whole new area, which will also be on the list. So I'm going to go save. So we've got a lot of new places we can go now that we've gotten the double jump and all the other stuff that we got. I'm going to go check out the library, and then I'll come back up to here probably and go do what I can up there. I'm not going to be able to do everything there yet. But I'll do what I can up there. And then we'll continue on from there. This is just kind of, I think I might have mentioned at the beginning that I'm just sort of playing this for fun. I'm not trying to necessarily show things off or do things, well, I'm trying to show things off, but I'm not necessarily trying to do things in like the most efficient way or anything like that. Because I'm definitely not doing it in the most efficient way. But we are back in the library. And all the stuff that we want to get to is up here. Past our favorites, the ectoplasms. Thankfully they die in one hit now. We will occasionally drop an uncurse as well, which is kind of nice. Since curse is, you know, all they really have going for them. Okay. Oh, hey. He dropped the rapier. So I think at this point, yeah, the rapier does less damage, but it's a totally different... It's a different attack animation. And it has that, which is kind of cool. If you do quarter circle forward, it does a whole bunch of hits. It's also more effective against the books than the mace is. So we can't get up to that one yet, but we can get to this one now. Should let that actually do its thing next time I come through. so you guys can see what it is, because it's actually different than the normal weed that we run into. Alright, we're into uncharted territory, which includes these fucking armored fleamen. God, I hate them. They turn into regular fleamen when you hit them, so they're not terrible. But while they're armored, they hit really hard for what they are. And they take 2 hits, because you have to hit them once to remove the armor, and then hit them again to actually kill them. And they are fucking everywhere. So, we're now into the, I guess, the back part of the library. This is sort of the second half of it, for lack of a better way to describe it, I guess. Which features secrets, including the Holy Rod, which is going to take our little Morning Star here up to a whole nother level. So, it only does 1 extra damage, which doesn't seem like a whole lot, but here's the thing about the Holy Rod, is it does holy damage. And most of the shit that we fight is dark aligned, which means that the holy damage is going to hit even harder. So, let's go fuck some shit up, shall we? Anyway, not everything is going to be affected by the Holy Rod any differently than it would have been hit by the Morning Star that we had equipped before, but... Oh wow, I got a Takemitsu from him, huh? Takemitsu's not great. It's a 2-handed bamboo sword, it doesn't do a lot of damage. But it is something that you can get from the Fleamen. And it's not a super common drop, so I'm actually surprised I got it right away. So, this guy here is a big part of why the Holy Rod that we just got is a good find. Because it hits him real hard. So this is a lesser demon. He summons baddies and will occasionally fly around and fire that big old laser at you. He also has one of the coolest death animations, where he like burns up, and if you kill him while he's on the ground, he actually takes like 3 or 4 steps while he's on fire like that before he finally disappears. But that was the lesser demon. He died quick, in part because we have the Holy Rod, which deals extra damage against him. And in here, we get another Takemitsu, an Onyx, and a Frankfurter, and find something that we can't get through. Mysterious. But again, I'm not doing this in the most efficient way, so I could have waited to come here until I could have gone through that grate. Which probably would have made more sense, all things considered, since that's now sort of the extent of what I can do here in the library. How is that not hitting him? Ah, this is not what I want. This is not a good place to be. There we go. Alright, made it out of that alive. Anyway. Yeah, so I could have waited to come here until I actually had the power-up that's going to let me, the mist power-up that's going to let me get through those grates. But I didn't. I decided to come here now. In part because I wanted the Holy Rod. Oh yeah, I'm going to let this guy actually grow so you guys can see it. It turns into a corpse weed, and then it has a nasty head. Yeah, the Holy Rod is great. It wrecks stuff in this area, and just kind of in general for a good chunk of the game from this point on. I'm not even really going anywhere important right now. I'm just sort of wandering aimlessly. I need to go talk to the merchant, because I don't remember if he's got anything that I want at this point. I don't think he really does. How much gold do I have, though? 5,000? Okay. Go talk to the merchant. The librarian, as it were. And then we'll move on to the next couple areas. Dun, 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 dun.
What can I do for you?
I'm interested in this.
So as you can see, I've got a bunch of gems to sell now, and that's gonna give me a much bigger pile of gold. Now I have 16,289.
I'm interested in this.
So I can use that to buy some more stuff. Like the Firebrand, the Fire Sword of Oberon, or the Ice Brand. These are all weapons that you can just find as well. But if you buy them, then you get them earlier, and they're all good. They do good damage. They're worth having for that, if nothing else. Get a better shield. Get a circlet, which I don't really care about. Silver Crown gives me a big boost to int. The Diamond Plate gives me a nice big boost to defense from 12 to 21. Sizable there. The Reverse Cloak increases my constitution. The Elven Cloak increases my constitution even further. Still can't afford Joseph's Cloak. And then again, there's this stuff. The Duplicator. And then I can get the magic scrolls, which teach me how to do the different things. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Ring of Pails. And I'll take the Elven Cloak. And I think that's probably about it. I don't really need the the Diamond Plate right now. It's useful, sure, but you know.
Farewell for now.
I'll just take what I grabbed. So Elven Cloak gives me a boost of 3 to my defense, gives me a boost of 4 to my constitution, which is nice, so I'll have more health, and then the Ring of Pails just gives me +1 to everything, which is great. There's like no reason not to get that. So, now I've got a nice green cloak, because it's the Elven Cloak. And we can leave the library. Anyway. So now I have a decision to make. As as far as where I want to go next. I can either go up and explore the clock tower. That's what that area in the top right there is. Or I can go down and explore all the stuff that's down. There's a lot of stuff that's down. Or I can go up and explore Olrox's chambers. Those are the three areas I can get to right now. I'm going to hold off on the clock tower for a while, because the clock tower is actually really difficult in this game. It's got a lot of enemies. They come out all over the place. There's a lot of things that just... a lot of spikes and hazards that'll fuck you up just because you touch them. And just a lot of nasty stuff in general. And I actually think that I might go down instead of up. I know I got a double jump, and you'd think, oh, well, you should go up then. But I think I'm going to go down. I'm going to go into the depths of the castle here for a little bit. Check out what's down there. Oops. Oh. Excuse me, don't want that. I'll just keep the shield up as they run in because that blocks their little projectiles. And then that's the other attack that it has, which sends out those little spores, and those little spores also petrify you, I think. Yeah, you can see how much damage that's doing to the Diplocephalus. Alright, so not this one, but the next one. We're going to go down and... well, I guess we're going down this one on accident. But we'll go down the next one, and that will give us our entrance to the next area. Nonsense. I think at this point we should be fairly appropriately leveled and equipped to deal with the stuff that's down here. I mean, I think we'd be okay if we went to any of the areas, if I'm being totally honest at this point. But... spear guards, which, you know, at this point we're killing in one hit, so they're not much of a threat. You just kind of have to be smart and not let them get the jump on you. This area also has a lot of side passages and other routes and things to check out. It gets very, very large and transitions into two other areas that we haven't been to yet. Oops. Oh well. Is it here? Yeah, it's here. This takes us to the bandana, which you can put on your head. It doesn't really do too much right now. Just lowers our intelligence. But, you know, exploration is important. Yeah, let's go down, why not? It's worth remembering that the bone archers shoot twice before they reload. So don't let them fire and then go, okay, I can go now, it's safe. Because they will hit you with that second arrow if you ain't paying attention. So a lot of long sort of towers in this area, long columns that go way down or way up or both. Oops. Missed the jump there. You can actually stand on this top drawer, use that to get up. And then you can see the shift in appearance here as we drop down into the cavern part. It's also it's worth noting that this tunnel that's directly above me right now is just sort of a straight shaft. There's not actually much in there for you to land on or maneuver through. So we'll explore that shaft later when we get some abilities that make it easier for us to explore that shaft. We're in a new area. This floor is actually a secret. You can break that and you meet the frozen shades, which I'm already killing in one hit. That's good to know. Can't do anything here though, unless I want to die. That water is toxic and will kill us if we go stand in it. Not immediately, of course, but it ticks down your health while you're in there, and that causes issues. So we got to go here first, fight the Scylla worm. Not that bad. Pretty easy boss. Uh-oh. Remember what I said about the water being bad for us? Yeah, you can see it's taking down our health. Alright, well, what's over here? Oh my! Hey look, it's the rest of that monster that we were just fighting. So the first thing you want to do is take care of the heads, while watching out for the other attacks that Scylla will throw at you, like those skulls and stuff. And then once you've done that, you can kind of take care of the rest of her. Nothing she has at this point hits all that hard, but she has a lot of attacks that she can throw out all at once, so you gotta be careful for that. But that's the actual boss. That was Scylla. She's dead now. And she gives us the Crystal Cloak, which I just bought this Elven Cloak. But the Crystal Cloak gives us one more constitution. It also looks really cool. I like the way that it's supposed to be semi-invisible, so it shimmers as you walk around. It's pretty cool. So that was Scylla. She gives us the cloak, but we're also now deep in the underground bits, and there's some other stuff around here that we're going to want to collect. Like that pot roast. That's not really what I was talking about, but the water here is now gone, so we can move around and get stuff like the scimitar. I know it's scimitar, I'm just, being facetious. Which I think might do more... No, it doesn't. Okay. this water, when it's ankle deep like this is fine. We don't take damage from this. It's only if we're fully submerged that we actually take damage from the water. That was weird. I don't know why it loaded the room that harshly. But I guess it's because it was leaving a boss room. Go save real quick since we did kill a boss. Again, she's not particularly difficult. It's a fairly easy boss fight. Not the sort of thing where if I died and had to go fight her again, it would be a big deal, but all the same. And now we can go explore this area, which features toads. And also this thing, which you can plug up, and then all of these spear guards here suffer a terrible, terrible fate. There's a whole lot of mushrooms around here as well. They can be used to heal in a pinch if you need them. There are usually better healing items available than the mushrooms, but, you know. You take what you can get. The frogs jump much further. They're smaller, they jump further, and their tongues are actually quite a bit longer than the toads. Other than that, they're basically the same sort of monster. Later on, the monsters in this area will change slightly, and we'll need them to do something there. We have a big old waterfall here. Check that out. So you can try and go through that, but it causes damage and it will push you back like that. Or it will push you down, making it harder to actually navigate through it. So we're avoiding the water at this point. Really cool effect here because it's all frozen. The water actually has a thin layer of ice on top of it. Doesn't have any real gameplay significance. Doesn't mean that you can walk on it or anything, but I like the little touches that they do there. There's the Oarman. We're gonna go talk to him in a second. First I wanna explore this area. You can see that leads out, and this actually takes us all the way back to the very beginning of the game. To a room that should be very familiar, because we spent a whole lot of time in here not too long ago. Hey look, it's the Fishman room. So yeah, this loops us all the way back to the very beginning of the game. We'll come back here later. But for now we're going to continue to explore the caverns, the subterranean caverns. They have a different name, I don't remember what it is.
I'll take you to a place which might be interesting for you.
That fucking voice. So for this you just want to stay on the boat. That candle up there always drops, I think it's a 2,000 gold bag or a $2,000 bag, which is tempting, but if you fall off the boat then you have to wait for it to come back. So it's not really worth it to mess around when you don't need to. But he takes us over here, and over here we get the merman statue, which is actually quite useful. Look at it. We can now summon him. He will come to us. And if you guys remember, there was an area that we found that had the boat dock thing, the tie-up there. but no oarsmen. So now we can go go back to there, and he'll show up and take us to the next place. So we're gonna go back over there, which was just sort of straight this way. Past all these frozen shades. Although, we can't get there yet, that's right, because we gotta go back up and around because of the damned waterfall. Alright, so we're gonna go do that then. My bad. Oops. Whoops. That's alright, though. It's a fairly short jaunt back. And, yeah, it gives us an excuse to explore. Oh, I got the ice mail. Oh, nice. That's a good drop there, actually. Gives me much better defense in general, and I also have a lot of defense against ice attacks now. So, in particular, the stuff that, like, these frozen shades do would not do nearly as much damage to me now as it would have before I got the ice mail. Both because the ice mail just has higher defense and also because it's specifically stronger against ice attacks. Alright. So, yeah, we're just gonna kind of wander our way back up to where we were, I guess. Yeah. And here we are back at the very beginning of the game. This room's actually very frustrating now, because the zombies have a tendency to pop up right underneath you. And so, even though they all die in one hit, they still pop up right underneath you, and then you have to stop and hit it, and then you can keep moving, so you can't really just run through here. That will eventually change. There's also, at some point, if you come back to that room, you can fight Gaiden and Slagra again. That room that we just walked through, where we initially ran into death, and he took all our stuff. There's also something here, hey! So, how do I want to get there? The other thing is there's that now, which I can get to. So I'm going to do that, so I can check that out. The best way to do that is double jump over there, and then double jump over here. Get you some health ups. Woohoo! More health. And then we'll go up and around and blah 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 blah. Yeah, we got a whole long route to take. We can take that elevator up now, instead of having to go all the way around, so that'll be slightly more convenient. That was dumb. That was just me being dumb. Yeah, so we can just hop up over here, take the elevator. We don't have to actually go through the whole laboratory like we've been doing in the past. Like that you can see the background through my cloak. And then, yeah, we can go up and around there. And I can never remember what it is that blocks you from being able to get... Oh, right, I just need to be able to jump higher. That's all it is. It's literally just that I need to be able to go higher. Which is just an ability that I don't have yet. Get all sorts of fun abilities in this game. I showed off the relic list, or I looked at the relic list earlier, just to kind of show when we got the Cube of Zoe, but you can see just how much is in here, and just how little we filled out so far. And we've been going for 2 hours and 43 minutes of playtime. The last run I did of this game, to completion, which again was not 100%, well, it wasn't everything, I definitely missed some things, but it was almost everything. That run took about 10 hours to do. It was also a little bit more directed, I guess. I wasn't as... I was much more pointed in the directions I was going and in the stuff that I was doing. There was a lot less just kind of aimlessly wandering around, hoping that I ran into something that I wanted to run into. But, you know, as I've said a couple times, I'm just sort of having a good time, exploring the castle. What I could do as well if I wanted to is I could find another weapon that has a similar damage output to the Holy Rod and put it on my shield. So instead of having the Holy Rod and a shield, I'd have two weapons. And that would make it so that when I come up against stuff like the axe armors that actually take more hits with the Holy Rod than they did without, I could just use that weapon and hit him that way instead. Alright, almost back. I can take the quick route this time. Show you guys all what I was talking about when I said that that hallway doesn't really, or that, yeah, whatever the fuck you want to call it. That thing doesn't really have anything to stand on in it. You just kind of go straight down. We are officially out of platforms. You see a couple on the sides there, but that's about it. Alright, so now we're going to go straight down because we can call the oarsman to the secret room. See? There he is.
I'll guide you to meet your destiny.
God, that voice, the oarsman, he's quite the character. Do have to duck under that or you'll just get pushed off. Like I was about to get pushed off there. Just like earlier where I was talking about how there's the big money bag that you could get, but that it wasn't really worth it. There were some items that I could get along this route that aren't really worth it. Because if you miss this ride, then you have to go all the way back through the water, which, again, does damage to you if you're too deep in it, and then get the oarsman to come back, so that you can get the holy symbol, which, if you actually look at it, it's a snorkel. Anyway, I remember as a kid, I don't think I recognized that it was a snorkel, and so I just assumed that it was like the symbol of J. I don't know. I wasn't raised religiously, but I think I knew enough about religious stuff to be aware of, like, Jonah and the whale, so I think I probably assumed it was supposed to be like J for Jonah. And then that was the holy symbol, that it was the symbol of J, because Jonah was swallowed by the whale. I don't know. But it's just a snorkel. That's all it is. Konami has a long and storied history of naming things weird things in the Castlevania games, like Circle of the Moon, which I talked about earlier, has the best armor in the game is called the Shining Armor, which pretty sure it's supposed to be shining, but it's got two N's in it, so it's the Shining Armor. Although that, I think, is a translator error more than anything else. So those knuckle dusters that I just picked up are one of the things that you can use to break the steel ball in the chapel a little bit more quickly than the Bacillard does it. I think. Anyway, it goes a little bit more quickly. Oh, I missed a few areas. God damn it, I gotta go back. My map percentage. Yeah, I don't need you, oarsman. I just need to fill in the gaps that I missed because I jumped out of the area too quickly. Which should be the first one coming right up. Got it. Yay. It might seem silly that I'm so paranoid about my map completion, but map completion's a big deal. Alright, cool. Now we can go into the next area. I feel like I should mention as well, we've got a good chunk of the castle explored at this point. We have the furthest left and right. We have reached the boundaries on the left and the boundaries on the right. We have not reached the lowest boundary or the highest boundary yet. We are close, but we are not there yet. There's a whole other area that is lower than we are right now. And then there is a room that goes slightly higher on the map than what we can see right now. The full map for this game is very big. Alright. Okay, so at this point I just need to go left and go through all the water stuff. I can go through the waterfall without taking damage now. It does still push me. So I can't just, you know, walk through it like it's nothing. But I can at least go through it without taking damage, so that's good. go down here. Watch out for the fish heads. They shoot. Ow! Oh, Jesus. Get these, frankly, crappy weapons. The nunchaku are not good in this game. They don't really serve any real purpose other than existing. They do attack very fast, actually, I guess, is the benefit. And I think there are some combos that you can put in to do different attacks with them. But I've never been a big fan of using them. I've always preferred to just sort of stick with, you know, something that's a little bit easier to use, a little bit less complex in its execution. Ow, fucking frog. I'm just making sure I'm actually getting the full exploration out of that. Ow. Oof. Some anti-venom. Cool. Level up. And then there's another life up in here, and that's this whole room explored. I will say, water exploration never really gets any quicker. You always kind of move slow in water. It's definitely easier now that I'm not constantly taking damage from the water, but it never really gets any quicker. Anyway. Now we run against the current, so we can get this pentagram. And now we're back in the waterfall area. Now that we can stand in the water, we can make that jump fairly easily. And that is our cue to go back where we just were. Which unfortunately I just kind of screwed up because I just fell down again. And I have to go back around to get there. But something has shown up at the wooden bridge. Also, we got the secret boots, which are kind of worthless. But since I don't have anything else equipped there, I'm going to put them on anyway, so you can see that they do, in fact, discreetly increase your height. We take him off. He drops down a little bit, and all it does is extend the sprite. It just stretches the sprite by like a pixel or so. They serve no purpose in game, but I do appreciate that the secret boots, which are intended to increase your height, do in fact increase your height. Okay. Explore the water over here. And there's that 250. I don't know why I thought it was like 2,500. It's only 250. I think there's another one at some point that's like a lot. It's guaranteed to always give you a lot. It might be that one right there. Yeah, that's the one that's always 2,000. And I need to wait for the lift to get back so I can get up here. Watch out for the killer fish. He's a killer. He just kind of exists, actually. He doesn't really do much. I think he'll charge at you. Or he has a charge attack anyway, but yeah, he's kind of just there. Anyway, I needed to go... Actually, I don't need to go this way anymore. I was just clearing out map tiles at that point. I'll let him lead me back to where I want to go, because that way I can get that $2,000 bag again. It's easiest to get if you're on his boat. But that's also partly, I mentioned earlier that money never really becomes an issue, and that's part of why, because that bag will respawn every time you come into the room. So you can just come back in here and get that $2,000 every time you come into the room. Alright, I gotta go back around again, because I'm an idiot and I missed my fucking jump, so that we can get into that last room there, which will take us to the next area. That's one of the other things that I always found interesting about this game, is it's entirely possible to beat the game without beating the game, if that makes any sense. Which is to say that you can, from where we are right now, I could probably get to Dracula. Or the final boss, anyway. I could probably get there from where we are right now. I think I might need one more power-up before I can get there, but we're very close to being able to get there already. And then I could go fight the final boss and in the game already. I could do that if I wanted to, but I would only be getting about a third of the actual experience if I were to finish the game now. Instead, we press on. Continue to fight our way through the castle and get all the good stuff that we want to get. I don't know why I wanted to go here. Okay. So, if, let's see, at this point, again, I got a couple options. I can go up into Olrox's chambers, I can go up into the clock tower, or I can go down further, even further down than we have already gone. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to where we just were. So I can open that other bridge, which opens all three of the areas that we can get to. It makes them all three accessible to us. And I'll save, and I'll probably call it a day. Because otherwise I'm going to be halfway done with this game by the end of the first stream. I mean, as I mentioned at the beginning, I fucking love this game. It's always been one of my favorite games, which is part of why, you know, I've been playing it non-stop for the last 3 hours or so, right? Yeah, 3 hours in game time. And the stream started at 8, which was 3 hours and 25 minutes ago. So, you know, 3 hours plus 25 minutes for, or 20 minutes probably for getting through the first little bit of the game, where you play as Richter and you fight Dracula. And I'm, yeah, still having fun, still enjoying it. It's a really good game. I like it a lot. I will always enjoy sitting down to play this game. I mean, I even just beat this game, God, a couple months ago. Even, and I'm already back at it. Yeah. I'm gonna go open up the bridge, and then I'll call it a day, and I'll save. I do wish that it still told you what everything was called when you went into it after the first time. I legitimately don't remember what each area is called. And I'd love it if it would, you know, just pop up the little message that was like, hey, you're in the whatever this place is called again. Alright. Going this way. We also have like one single square in the waterfall room that isn't marked. That's bugging me right now. What level are we now, by the way? 20. Alright. So, as the game said, something has appeared by the bridge room, and it's this guy. The skeleton ape here. And what you need to do is come into the room, get him to notice you, but not throw his barrel. And then he will follow you. See, he starts coming closer and closer. He follows you over here. And if you just kind of wait on the bridge, he'll eventually throw his barrel at the bridge. Come on, buddy, where'd you go? I broke too far from him, didn't I? Yeah. So you just kind of keep his head on screen like that. He'll eventually come all the way over here. Then you can get him to throw his barrel at the bridge. And once he throws his barrel at the bridge, he breaks it open. And you get all the goodies inside. And access to the next area. The Abandoned Mine, which has one of my favorite soundtracks. But I believe this should be a save point. Yes, it is. So I'm going to save here. And next Tuesday, we will continue this adventure through Dracula's castle. Either by going through this abandoned mine that we're in right now, or by going up north and checking out some of the areas up top, or that central area that we have not explored yet. But, go ahead and save the state as well. I don't really need to, because I'm good about actually keeping stuff saved, but save the state as well before I close it. And that's all for today, so thanks for stopping by. If you did. I don't think anybody really did, but you know. Thanks for coming by. And we'll see you guys on Thursday in 2 days for more New Vegas.